to your Naga roots and also to the Naga collective.
I can go first. For me, I think so. When I came here and I started living here, and I think for the past 6-7 years, I would say, when someone asks me, "Who am I? Where are you from?" my first thing is I'm a Naga, right? And then my intro is usually most of the time a little long because I give a little backstory about where is Nagaland, how did we become part of India. So it's a little long, but people are interested when you talk about stuff like that. So for me, it's just been over like 10 years since I've been here. So I really, for me, I don't know how it is to be Naga American yet. I'm getting there because obviously I live with 3 Americans, I would say. My husband is second generation born. I have 2 stepdaughters, third generation born. So, but as an identity, I always say I'm a Naga. I'm from this place. This is my culture. So it's very easy for me to say that right now.
I think I have maybe the opposite experience where, because I was born and brought up here and didn't grow up around many people from Nagaland, I was always very embarrassed because nobody seemed to know where Nagaland was. And so I wanted to acclimate to American culture as quickly as possible. And so when I actually spoke Andani as my first language, but when I got here I wouldn't speak English, so they had to only speak to me in English. And after I lost that language, I only spoke English, was very interested in being like all of my classmates. And as I got older, I realized that it's such a special thing to have this connection to Nagaland. And we used to go like every summer when I was younger. And that not many people know about it. It's such a unique and specific part of India. And to get to be a part of teaching people that this is a culture that's so rich and that's still very present in America. So as I'm getting older, I'm learning a little bit more what it means to connect with my Naga roots and bring that into my American culture as well. Okay. So, how about you?
Well, I think it's good to remember the more you try to understand American culture, it's also going to help you understand Naga culture. Because then from here you're going to reflect back on Naga culture. So it's like back a two-way traffic. For me, since I was very much part of the Naga religious, let's say, life in Nagaland, in different parts of the state, I'm still very much in touch, and also being very much on the forefront of higher education in Nagaland. I was principal of St. Joseph's College for long, so I'm still in touch with those aspects, and also I'm currently still the president of the Lota Academy that looks into the language development of the local language, similar to Ora Academy or the our literature or Sylvan literature. So I'm still very much in touch with that. Matter of fact, right now I'm editing a translation of the New Testament, the Catholic edition, and we are into the 5th draft. And I'm also working on the 2nd edition of the Lota Dictionary. So I'm constantly in touch with those, people in Nagaland and those aspects of the culture. So I'm very much still in touch every day.
Great. Okay, so that's a good segue actually. I was thinking about language, and then you also touched a little bit about language, and of course you are working on that. And as you mentioned, and I think it's no wonder you are also an anthropologist, and anthropologists say that culture is an iceberg, right? And then underneath that, where I think 90% is like more like culture, your values, and what do you hold there, So I think also, I believe language can also be, we come from a place where we speak so many languages, and there are so many village-specific languages. And then even earlier we were talking about like some youngsters, even people from Nagaland, they don't know their mother tongue, right? And so, and even here, I think we live in the United States, so of course our primary language is English. And so, like, how do you feel about your own mother tongue, or so what is your take on that? Is it like a good thing that we should continue, or not continue, but what's the word? let me just say, let me just put an open-ended thing there and just ask, what do you think about language, your own language, your own mother tongue, and in relation to living in the United States and all of that?
So I grew up in Dimapur. I'm an owl girl, but we grew up speaking Nagamese at home. So I do understand Chungli and Mongsen. I actually have regret that I don't like speak Chungli and Mongsen fluently. It's the biggest regret of mine, and I wish I was in some owl community to relearn all of that. But I think language is so important because that's part of our culture, our identity, and stuff like that, right? So I do think like speaking our language and making an effort. I mean, if you can, I think it's important. And I wish I can really speak fluently owl, but I do understand that I cannot.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's so sad to me that I don't remember my first language, but it's interesting that it helps me understand when other people speak different languages, in a sense. So I work with a largely Vietnamese population at my health center, and so I've been learning a little bit of Vietnamese just to be able to communicate through an exam. But I think because I have a background of how important language is to culture, and kind of in, like, I hear my mom speak different languages when we talk on the phone to our family and friends, I have a little bit more, one, compassion, and two, a little bit more of like a knack of trying to understand what is being said in different languages. So I think understanding your own language connects you to your culture, and it also makes you open when other people are speaking their respective languages. I think it's definitely something that I'm interested in relearning as an adult.
Well, language carries a lot of these cultural value systems. So as I go through this dictionary work a lot, I come to realize that there are so many ways of, let's say, concepts in Lota that is through the language that, I wish this concept was there in English. There are beautiful ways of understanding the world, of understanding human life. And so that certainly has enabled me and also prompted me to learn more about NAF languages. I speak Lota very well. I usually speak Angabindi or Sema a little bit, but more Sangam or Imchu a little bit. And so what I'm trying to do now is, I'm a cultural anthropologist, and I try to understand culture, certainly, but I'm trying to understand culture through language. So I've been going back to my the university as a business scholar to learn a lot about linguistics. So right now I'm busy trying to understand NAF languages, especially local language, through the